You know, one day my mom was like, "You still in therapy?"
Hey fam,
Hey,
welcome back to the Mindfully Delusional podcast. As usual, it's your girl Lauren, aka Lo, and
I'm Trav, aka Trav.
Period. As you can tell, we're a little bit more comfortable. We're a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more casual. We got the couch today because we felt like it was time for a soft life session.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
The girls have been working hard, okay? I don't know if it looks like it, but you know what? We've been going, we've been running, and we've been doing the podcast. We've been taking care of our families and paying our bills. Baby,
all the things we don't want to do. Okay, no, we do want to take care of our families.
We are so blessed to be able to do that.
Pay our bills. We don't want to pay our bills.
I'm just waiting for somebody to come and pay them for me.
Hello, any takers?
If I can be
whenever you're ready,
honest.
just there's so many ways to reach me, you know.
Matter of fact, link in bio. I'm kidding. We're going to talk about therapy, and we love therapy over here.
Yeah, without it, I feel like everything's hard. So,
you know,
I don't know what I was doing before therapy. I'm not really sure.
What's the best thing your therapist ever said to you that kind of sticks with you all the time?
Oh, gosh. Okay, you go first.
My therapist said something today, I think I told you, that helped me a lot. It's about making plans and sticking to them. You have to stick to your plans.
Yeah.
If you plan to do something, you have to stick to it. Because if somebody told you that they were going to do something and they didn't do it, you would never trust them. You would never trust a word that comes out of their mouth. You know, and it's the same thing with yourself. If you don't follow through for yourself, you will lose trust in yourself. If you don't trust yourself, you'll find yourself stuck and unable to make those decisions and unable to move forward. And that was actually really helpful. I will probably not forget that. Yeah, because I can find any excuse to procrastinate or to put things off or to do it tomorrow. Yep. But she's right. If I don't stick by the things that I say I'm going to do for myself, then how can I expect anyone else to? Right. Also, unbeknownst to me, that may be affecting my standards. I will give people a million chances. And that might be because I'm raggedy to myself.
Wow. I can't think of like a specific statement at this moment. But what I'll say is probably the most helpful for me has just been the validating of my feelings.
Okay, yeah.
The validating thing was just so important for me because being in a relationship where, you know, you're constantly told that like how you feel is wrong and what you think is not right, you begin to like absorb that. It's not only because of the relationship, but just like my own lack of confidence, you know, like not trusting myself. Yeah. And so I needed to get to a point where I trust myself. And she showed me how you feel and what you think is absolutely valid. You don't sound crazy. You don't sound like now this may not have been the best way to go about this, but how you feel about it is valid and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So your therapist, she's honest with you, right? Does she tell you when she thinks you're raggedy?
She doesn't say I'm raggedy, but it's like, so what are you thinking about this decision? Like, how do you feel about it? And where did this thought process come from? And I'm just like,
It's like making you say what you did out loud. Yeah. So that you can realize the ridiculousness of it.
Right.
Like, yeah, now that I can hear it out in the room and it's not just in my head, that does have the different spin on it, you know?
I thought that therapists, that they just kind of like hear your problems and tell you what to do. And they really want you to work through that yourself. I know for mine, she is not just like being like, I need you to that ain't right, just do this. I mean, she literally like has me to come to these conclusions. Bro. She gives great advice, but it's not what I thought it would be. And sometimes I'll be wanting to be like, can you just tell me how to live my life? I want like A to Z points. Just like draw the map for me.
I did say that.
Because I don't want to think. I don't want to think for myself. You think for me, please.
She's in the middle of doing that thing that good therapists do where they ask you, what were you thinking, and talk yourself through this. And I was like, no. No, I want you to tell me exactly what you think I should do here. Tell me what you think I should do here. And in case you're worried about liability, anything I decide to do after this, I will make sure to tell everybody it was not your fault. But I need you to tell me what you think I should do. Because my problem is I said what I said. Clearly, I made the decision that I wanted to make. I thought this was a good decision.
Yep.
Clearly, as I'm telling you over and over again why I made the decision, I'm not changing my mind. But if there's something that you want to say, an opinion that you want to give to help me to do better, you're going to have to tell me, like, black and white.
Yeah.
And she thought that was funny, but she did end up telling me.
Yeah.
What do you imagine the fully healed version of yourself looking, sounding, acting like?
Very sure of myself. Very calculated. Very,
that's a good word.
Very successful. Very organized. Like, just like boss. Like, I feel like I'm just gonna walk and talk like different. Like, I feel like I'm just gonna exude like just that girl at that time.
I think the fully healed version of me is the version that I thought that I was before I started therapy. And then they started telling me, like, yeah, you're so close, but baby, no.
So close yet so far.
So close yet so far. I want to make the best decisions that will get me the furthest. And I want...
So full of wisdom.
Yeah, that's really what I'm
wise.
after. That's really why I started therapy in the first place. The same way that I feel like I've gone to the gym to try and get this body that I really want. It's how therapy feels. And so I want to be as beautiful mentally and emotionally as a good, consistent workout routine would make me physically.
Yeah.
And I thought I was there until I started therapy, and they were like, no, maybe you are not.
Yeah.
How were your parents with it?
You know, one day my mom was like, you still in therapy? I was like, yes. Like, she's like, you still need help? Like,
like, sis, you ain't healed yet? God dang, how much time do you need?
You've been going every week for almost 2 years, girl. What you looking for?
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, Mom, I mean, it's just a continuous thing. Life's all the time. There's always something coming down the pike. If ain't nothing happening now, you're on your way into it or you're on your way out.
So said back in my day, man, it didn't take all that.
Girl, you go in your prayer closet and stop playing.
That's your problem. I feel like that's what my mama wants to say to me.
I don't know. I don't know if I was like low-key offended initially, but I was just like, yeah, I'm still in therapy. Yeah, girl, I still go. And she like, every week. Yes, I am. And I
that is so good. So funny. Every week.
Every week you go.
Every week.
Every week. But like,
my mom was like, how much? She's like, if you want to come over and talk to me,
yeah. How do you think you've changed, over time?
From therapy?
Yeah.
Honestly.
So hurricane?
I'm still here. I'm still blowing. Mm-hmm. I'm still a little bit.
Yeah.
I was on such a quest to seek validation, and then I kind of did like a very radical change to where it's like, I don't need anybody to tell me that I'm fine. I'll decide whether or not I'm fine, which is okay. Except if you're not really fine, you're not really fine.
Yeah.
And so I think, to answer your question, yes, I do see some changes, but not the changes that I expected to see.
What changes did you expect to see?
I expected for them to be like, yeah, this is how you make friends and keep friends. This is how you enter into a relationship and don't self-sabotage it.
I feel like my switch to my newer therapist it like happened at the most crucial time when everything was kind of like just about to fall apart.
Aww.
And so I remember going in and being like, okay, I feel like my marriage is falling apart.
Wow.
And can you please tell me, like, what am I doing wrong? Maybe my expectations are too high. How do I change me?
You started therapy before your divorce?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It started with things seem to be going a little crazy.
Gotcha.
So how do I fix me so that I can be better?
Right.
For him and for my marriage. I was trying to like get ahead of something to try to be able to kind of control the outcome. And it's just like, sis, you might not be able to control this.
Yeah.
It's like your whole world just kind of like falls apart and you just have to sit and watch it.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, all right, well, yeah. I that like having to accept that like this is ending.
What helps when you're sitting in your pain?
So, I know for me, crying.
Mm-hmm.
So
love a good cry.
Love a good cry. I mean, like the heaving, the snotting, the stuttering, the can't breathe, like, you know, like literally like how your kids when they be really, really devastated about something, like that kind of just guttural, just like, And for a while, I kind of isolated. I would just literally for hours just sit. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, there's reflection. And then after a while, it was just like, all right, I went through that. I had that moment. It was ugly. I sat in it. I didn't call anybody. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't go out and go drinking or go out and go partying or anything like that. I just literally sat in it and just let it consume me, kind of.
or not even consume me, but let it kind of like evaporate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's consuming it to a certain degree, but then you just let it go. I think it helps with letting go. Yeah.
Which is why I meant like a natural process where something kind of just eventually goes away.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like evaporation, it starts a puddle or anything, and then eventually it lifts naturally.
And a very slow and like.
Yeah. Like steam. Mm-hmm. You know. Another thing I find that I'm actually not ready to make some improvements in my personal life.
Listen, that's real. I remember like being scared to like say certain things about like certain relationships that I was like in that I wasn't really supposed to be in, certain little situationships. Exactly. Why do we stay in toxic situations?
Because we think it feels good.
It doesn't.
It feels just good enough.
You know, I know what my problem is. I think I always want to try to see the good in people.
I feel that. However, mine is like two sides of the same coin. I feel like I just cannot accept defeat. I don't like it when people are like, that's not on you, that's on him. If he can't see how great you are, that's on him. I honestly hate when people say that.
Really?
Because I don't think that that's a real thing.
You hate like his loss.
Yeah, I hate that.
Really?
No,
Let's
because
talk about it.
It actually is not always his loss. Sometimes he really walks away and does not care because you are not worth that. But
wait,
to him,
okay,
like period.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people always trying to be like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. I can't believe he doesn't see. Like, no, he sees. He got a good glimpse of me. He got a good taste of me. He got everything. He got a full sample and he decided that he didn't want it. And so what I always want to do after that is to become something that nobody can say no to. And that I think is the unhealthy part to them. And I still don't know that I fully agree with that, but I do not subscribe to that thought process that you're just so amazing. He just didn't know. Nope. I can fix some things. I can fix some things about myself.
I mean, we all can.
And
you can still be amazing though.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There's levels to amazingness in the dating pool, and that's why there's dating pools. You belong in that pool and you belong in that pool. If I belong in this pool and he's over there and I'm trying to get over here and y'all tell me, you know what I mean? I want to, if I need to get some type of membership to get into that pool, I want to get the membership. I don't want to stay in this pool and live in a delusion that I should just be good enough for everybody. That's not real. I think it just takes too much of my control.
Yeah.
I cannot accept somebody being like, well, there was nothing you could do about it. That's a very helpless place to be in. I'm not helpless.
Yeah.
And even if I have to take the responsibility and look at myself and be like, okay, well, you just weren't good enough for him. I can take that because that's something that I can control. And if I want to improve myself for him or for the job or for the gig or for anything, I can do that.
Are you never not good enough though?
What do you mean by that? Never not good enough?
I mean, I just feel like, is it ever okay to be like you weren't good enough for a person?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. You've dated a few people. Why are you not dating them no more?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, they weren't good enough for me. But I'm talking about me not being good enough for people.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I mean, well, okay. So I'm not going to say they weren't good enough. People are just different. No. It just doesn't work for me.
Nope.
But they can be good to somebody else.
Exactly. With lower standards. We want to ignore the logic. Like, you can actually measure anything.
You can.
Oh, somebody made me so mad. We were talking about a man or something, and I may have said like, oh, he was just better. They're like, is he really better? How would he be better? And it's like, sis, if we put on paper this guy and that guy, and we literally quantified everything that he has or does or has done, or his emotional maturity, you put a number value to that, he's better.
Better for you.
Not better in general. We all don't like it. See, this why.
Okay.
I think people can be better than other people. And I think that if you like somebody that's not as good as somebody else, that's good for you. Because I like people and they be not so good. They're not so good in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. But I like them. It doesn't matter. But yeah, somebody can definitely be better than them.
Yeah, it's probably just a little triggering for me because I was told I wasn't good enough.
And it is triggering to most people. It's not something that people want to hear. I would much rather someone just say like, you're not good enough. Oh! Because then I can be like, okay.
But you know what? Yeah. I mean,
because I can fix that. Because somebody being like, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. You don't know. What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, but I feel like
I don't know isn't actionable.
Yeah, but
that's his loss isn't actionable.
But I feel like for you to say, okay, you would prefer for them to tell you that you're not good enough so you can fix it,
like, or not fix it,
or okay, or not.
But at least there's a reason that I don't like. It just feels like it's a lie. Yeah.
Okay.
Just be honest. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And no, you don't. No, we don't fix it for everybody. It's not a thing like
I will not be.
Exactly.
If you don't think I'm good enough, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like the saying is always like, if what one man won't do, another will, which I get. Mm-hmm. But then it's also the talk about someone else will come along that'll do better. Or you'll find someone, this eye roll. I felt the deep breath. And nowadays, I just be saying that like, that may not always be true. Yeah, I feel like everybody's trash.
Always true. And I feel and I feel almost the opposite.
I feel like everybody's trash. I'm just like, oh, somebody better will come along. Like, better how? Like, not lying. Yeah. Like, not. Yeah, no.
But that I'm not jaded. You know, yeah. I still
I'm
fully
just so happy for you.
I still fully love the male species.
Me too.
And I still honestly,
and raggedy or not.
But why is that true? Yes. I do actually, as much as I be like, better. No, I do love them raggedy. The better speech is actually for me, myself, for me alone. I want to be better. He can stay raggedy and I'll just love him.
Why do we accept this though? It's not okay to be like, you can be raggedy. It's like, the more raggedy you are, the more drawn I am. Why?
Is that really what it is?
No, maybe not explicitly, but
I think the more attracted you are to a person, the more you'll accept. The more raggedy you'll accept. Yeah. I'm attracted to this part of you, and so I can very easily ignore or excuse that part of you.
But the person that's not raggedy at all, we don't want them.
Because they're usually lacking in other areas. They don't have those things that attract us.
Wait, but why are we attracted to the raggedy qualities?
We're not attracted to the raggedy qualities. We're attracted to the good qualities, but unfortunately, they often come in tandem. Because that's what I think.
You know, my therapist asked me like, well, what is it that you're looking for? Like when you start dating again, you know, what is it that you're looking for? And I was just like, everything that I haven't had.
I think what I have been guilty of is being so fixated on the things that I didn't have that I'm missing remembering to look for the things that I did have. The things that you had were so good. The things that you didn't have can't be the main thing to draw your attention. You need to find someone that comes with most of that. Now, there's no such thing as a perfect person, but don't be so fixated on what you didn't have or what you've never experienced that you accept the raggedy that comes along with it. Oof. And that's what I think my real issue is. Mm-hmm. And also because I want to maintain control over certain aspects of my life, it is much easier to take the responsibility of that one. Yeah. And be like, okay, I'll fix myself in this way and I'll fix myself in that way. And then maybe somebody won't treat me like that. But that's actually not how it works.
It's not.
And I think we've proven that. We've seen the most beautiful women in Hollywood getting cheated on and getting left all over the place. So we know that that's not actually true. But it's something that I haven't fully been able to let go of.
The dating pool ain't got nothing in it. I mean, that's just how
that's not true, guys.
I know that's not true. I know it's not really true. It just feels like it.
Also, my disqualification process is actually quite strict. Like, certain things will disqualify you very early. If you don't have a certain presentation, you won't even get close enough to me for me to be disappointed by your raggedy. So it's naturally embedded in me. I'm just not attracted to certain things, certain looks, certain sounds and smells and the certain, you know what I mean? Like a certain energy is
a certain lack of talent, you know.
Well, when you know. But like, you know, the things that usually get me are the things that are very well hidden, which I think is appropriate. But yeah, I'm not. Like, baby, don't come at me if you don't love Jesus.
But not a fake love the Lord, though.
Not a fake love the Lord, which I think you can tell. But that's like
not always.
How?
I mean, I just think people talk a really good game.
How? What's that look like?
Talking the talk and not walking the walk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't like that.
So, but how can you tell that they really do genuinely love God and have a relationship with Him? Are you like looking for them to like pray for you? Are you looking for their conversation to be about their, you know, daily study time? Are you looking for it in their decisions? Like,
yeah, all the things. Every tree bears some type of fruit.
Of course.
From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So like, if your conversation never has any mention of it, never shows any type of contrition or any type of like gratefulness, or you know what I mean? Like there are just certain things that like, yo, I love Jesus. I'm a changed person because of that. And that spills out. And I would hate for the Lord to try me and test me by sending me a good lookalike. Don't send me no lookalikes, Lord. I don't need that test. All right.
So someone takes you out on a first date. He picks you up and you get in the car and he's like, okay, let's start with prayer before we go. Wait, what is this face? You love that or you hate that?
I love it.
Yes. Okay. Like, let's start with prayer before we pull off.
The thing is that he's still working on me. Because what I wanted to say is inappropriate. I'm not going to say
what was you going to say? That's why I asked you. I want the inappropriate. What would you say? And then we all get to the restaurant and he's like, let's pray over the food again. Like,
yeah.
Because he got a prayer life.
He got, hey.
I don't do anything without God.
That does it for me. Oh, that does it for me so bad. That does it for me so bad.
Where they at?
But you can tell where you were lacking in your last relationship by what draws you in.
Yes.
And no diss to anybody, but I did not have that spiritual leadership.
Yeah.
And so I crave that. And so I'm highly attuned to someone who possesses that. Leadership in any type of way, honestly. I want a man that's a man.
Yeah.
That's a man. So that I can be as feminine as I've always wanted to be. I grew up with all boys. I unwillingly have like a certain level of like hyper independence, and I don't want to have to live like that anymore.
Yeah.
So if I sense that somebody might be able to love me in a way that relieves that pressure from me, I'm attracted to that. Now, those type of people often come with some raggedy because everybody's attracted to that.
Yeah.
All women are attracted to that, to those aspects of men. And so when they have so many options, they don't always navigate it so well, is what I find. Which goes back to me being like, okay, if options is the problem, I need to make sure that I'm at the top of the food chain so that I give myself a better chance.
Okay.
Of being the type of person the type of man that I would want.
Yes.
I don't know why women don't consider the type that their dream man actually likes. I was talking to a friend and I was like, she's like, this is the kind of man that I want. He was like, so fine. So absolutely fine. And she's a beautiful woman, right? But we're kind of average, just be honest. So I'm like, okay, well.
Average? Wait.
We are. I'm a degular woman.
I mean, of course.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, what type of women does he like? So we're like scrolling on his Instagram. And of course, it's like giving supermodel, Instagram model, which matches his aesthetic. So that makes perfect sense. And so
So you're saying you should know when they're out of your league?
No. My next question to her was like, okay, if that's the kind of man you want,
what you gonna do?
How do we get you closer to that, to being that type of woman that he seems to be attracted to?
To be an Instagram model?
As close to that as you can get, so that you can get as close to him as you can get. She was immediately turned off by the suggestion, though.
Of course, because what you want me to do?
Any further?
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Take it a step at a time. You be all right. You gonna be single for the next 5 years anyway, given your standards. So you might as well work as hard as you can to get closer to it. Like, don't play with me. Y'all fake.
You know, the people be saying if your standards are too high, you ain't gonna find nobody.
That's a fact. Your standards have to match what your the value that you bring.
Well,
don't be. Listen, God can do anything, but let's just keep it a buck.
But fail.
God can do anything but fail. But sis, get a man that's like the people that like you. That's an indication of where you are.
Oh, now wait.
I said it. Y'all hate that, huh? The people who like you are an indication of where you are. You don't like who likes you. Attract something different.
Lord.
That's fine. Let's end the episode here because
we're
going to get canceled. Because this is about therapy, not about...
Well, this is a product of therapy. That's where we are. So I'm just sitting here thinking like, let me think about how I done attracted lately.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do I like this person? I don't like this person. I don't like this about this person. So clearly I'm not
ready.
If you don't like what you're attracting, then you got to make some changes because you're the person that's attracting them. You're the person that's attracted. Now, here's the thing. When you're attractive, you're going to attract all types of things. But what you attract and what you allow in your space, that's all you. That's all up to you.
What you allow, what you entertain.
Yeah.
What you entertain is what makes the difference because...
Yeah, it makes a much bigger difference.
Yeah. Now you about to have me go and do my assessment.
You should.
Not that, people are like, coming in droves and knocking down my door. But, lately, I'm just like, let me take inventory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me go and fix my life so I can, attract somebody better according to Lo. I got to do better.
Oh, I didn't say that. If you like what you've been attracting, then
don't.
That's it. So, that's my only thing. I like what I've been attracting, and then in some aspects I don't. So then the therapy will assist me with getting to a level of maturity where I make sure that my standards are higher, so that raggedy gets weeded out.
Yeah,
because everything else is good.
Yeah,
I have a much lower raggedy tolerance. It's way too high.
Ooh. I keep saying I just feel like I just be trying to see the good in people. Like, okay, well, maybe they didn't mean it. Well, maybe I'm overreacting. Yeah. Maybe I'm overthinking. Okay, well, let me give grace. And it's just like,
yeah. And I was raised by men. When you're raised by men, you are taught that you kind of let men do whatever they want. And I know. So I have a little bit of that. And that's something I do need to work through in therapy.
I feel like
because
our mothers believe that.
But they made good decisions. They didn't marry ragadies.
Yeah.
They weren't out here getting dragged.
Right.
So we took the lesson of respecting your man and allowing a man to be a man, and we applied it to all of these unqualified candidates. That's our fault.
Yep.
Every principle isn't for every situation. There's a huge lesson to be learned for like boundaries and standards. But yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like once you find a good man, let that man be a man however he wants to be a man.
Yep. Because he ain't gonna run amok for real.
A good man's not gonna run amok for real. I can deal. Listen, I have a raggedy tolerance. I also have a few grace cards in my pocket for some running amok.
A couple,
not too many.
Not 10.
We run out. They're limited. Their little get out of jail free cards are gonna run out, but
quickly.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I think grace is good.
Look at us agreeing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us
Hope you enjoyed
on
the episode.
our very first Soft Girl session. It may have felt a little bit random, but that's actually what this is for. We're just kicking it. We're just talking. We're just chilling. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope that you join us on the next episode of the Mindfully Delusional podcast. And signing off, my name is Lauren, but my friends call me Lo.
And I'm Trev.
Bye,
Thanks
guys.
for tuning in. Comment, share, give us your
Please.
perspectives. We would love to hear from you.
All the things.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.